Well, hello again. Here we are, day 9 of working with our shadows, dancing with our shadows, healing our wounds. And I think tomorrow we're going to do a guided meditation about and working with one of our inner children or one of our wounded children from the past. And what's always interesting to me is as I'm contemplating these things and I'm getting inspiration, what happens, because understand that any time that you are on the healer's path, as you are helping to heal others, as you are making offerings of healing, you are also being healed, and you are also learning about ways to heal yourself. And as you learn about ways to heal yourself, you then have new ways to offer other people to help heal them. And then that has a ripple effect out. But it's also very much sort of a circular thing, right? That healers should always be working on themselves as well, understanding that we never get to a place where we are, at least in human form, very rarely, if ever, get to a place where you are fully healed, right? And so it's always a work in progress, but hopefully it is a work in progress that is fruitful and freeing, right? So I want to talk a little bit about about how we're going to do the guided meditation, and then also about some of the potential blocks, because I want you to have some time to think about that. Often I find sometimes just listening to someone talk about something, even without going through the process yet, helps me. It flips some sort of switch in me that allows me to move forward, right? Sometimes in preparation for the thing, and then sometimes I don't even, I don't end up needing, maybe a particular class that I thought I was going to take, and I take some sort of intro or something, but I don't, the inspiration that comes, I'm like, oh, okay. And then if I take the class, maybe I get it deeper or whatever. Anyway, the idea is that, again, shining a light on this, having some awareness about it is often like that's freeing just in and of itself a lot of times, right? So I'm going to give you, again, an example from my own life. I hope that is helpful. I'm really not trying to therapize by myself by telling you all about me. That's not the point. But I think it's helpful to have examples from real life. That is always what helps inspire me. And so anyway, that's how I'm going to do it. Today I was thinking about, okay, we want to do a guided meditation working with a wounded inner child. So that's inner child. It can be any earlier version of yourself that had a wound or that had something significant happen to them. And this could be 3 weeks ago, or it could be 30 years ago or more, okay, which would be more for me. So, and it's funny, the minute I started to think about this, like, I feel like a closet door opened and multiple wounded versions of me sort of stumbled out. And I'm looking at all of them thinking, wow, okay, I didn't realize there were this many of you, but okay, well, yeah, let's party. Let's bring it on, I think some of this was also inspired by the fact, and this is the example I'm going to use. I've been invited to a song circle on Sunday evening, which I'm super excited about. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Some of the people in the group are musicians, accomplished musicians, and some of us are not. We would be more sort of audience, but everyone is invited to sing or to offer a song. And then people can sing along if they know it, or they can clap, or they can just enjoy the vibe, or whatever it is. And it's also a potluck supper. Anyway, it sounds wonderful. And I am like super excited to like have that sort of community experience this weekend. Now, it also brought up a wounded child for me. So around the time I was 9 or 10, I went to a slumber party, and we had a talent show at the slumber party, right? And so I knew this song, Paper Roses. I think Marie Osmond was singing it at the time, which should date me a bit. And I sang my little 9-year-old heart out. And I got laughed at. and I got shamed. And it was horrible. And, and that's the thing, like these wounds, they don't have to be like huge things. Sometimes they are huge things. They can be like serious abuse and stuff, but it doesn't even have to be that. Even something as seemingly insignificant as an incident at a slumber party when you were 9 years old can leave a mark that makes you fearful of, let's say, putting yourself out there. Right? Now, obviously, I've overcome that to some degree, right? Because I'm putting myself out here now, and I've been doing that for quite some time in various forms. But the idea, I think, specifically of potentially singing in front of a group of people, that I think is part of what helped draw her out. And I'm so grateful for that, because now I get to work with her, and I get to, that may be the one I use in my guided meditation. Others tumbled out: the scared young mother who had a difficult traumatic birth, the 2-year-old whose daddy left for Vietnam. And, there's like all kinds of wounded things. And then there, the end of a relationship that was difficult, a couple of years ago. All of those versions of me, those earlier versions of me, can be wounded versions of me that need some healing, that need some love, right? So that's the guided meditation we're going to do tomorrow. Now, what I want to also point out is some of the blocks that can come when we are trying to go back and heal earlier wounded versions of ourselves, right? So, you've spent the last week or so thinking about, and I've been giving you tips and tricks to figure out what those shadows are, right? What they might be. And I just gave you another example of like how, bizarrely things can come up out of nowhere, right? That you don't even realize, like, oh my God, is that really a wound? Okay. So, but we can also have blocks, right? Particularly when we have, I think, really traumatic events, there can be a lot of fear about going back and trying to heal that wounded child. Because if the wound was really great, right? If there was serious abuse, that kind of thing, that, for instance, or a terrible accident, or the loss of a parent at a very early age, or, any of those things, there can be a lot of fear around going back and working with that child. Fear that child is too wounded, that's too sore, that's too much, that's you can't do it. You can. Okay, I want to assure you that you can. Now, you may have to do it in little bits, you may have to do it in stages, but I assure you that it is possible. Okay. The other thing that can be a block is something that we in the counseling business call secondary gain. Okay. And the easiest example that I can give you of secondary gain is a certain amount of victimhood, right? And this culture sure does make it easy to make yourself a victim of any number of different things, right? And that's not to say that you weren't potentially a victim in some particular situation, but do you want to continue to be the victim? Now, sometimes that's a place where maybe we get attention, if we're sick all the time, or we're constantly having trouble, or we're constantly bringing up drama for ourselves and for those around us, that can be a way of getting secondary gain. We're getting attention. The idea that negative attention is better than no attention at all, that's where that comes from, right? So if there is secondary gain that you're getting from some of these wounds, then that there may also be some resistance to going and healing them. Because then there's the thought of, oh my gosh, if I heal this, am I going to get attention ever again? There's this fear that if I do heal this, what then? And that can be true even without secondary gain. This idea of, if I do heal this, what next? What then? What do I look like? Who am I if I'm not walking around fearful or feeling wounded in this way? Who am I? Who's this new person? That can be scary too, right? Just the idea of not having this thing that's, even though it's not good, it's become almost like a comforting thing just because it's known, the devil you know versus the devil you don't. So fear, secondary gain, fear of what could be like, even if it's good, just fear of change, right? Those can all be blocks to going in. So I just want you to put some mind to that. tomorrow, I think we're going to do the guided meditation, assuming I don't get some inspiration to do something else first. But I think we're going to go right into the guided meditation. I'm going to try to keep it at about 10 minutes, which is what I'm trying to do, is keep this at 10 or under. I'm just over right now. So I'm going to go. But that's what we have for today. Okay. Thank you again for being with me. And I hope you have a fabulous day or night or evening or whatever. Okay. See you later.